Dr. Peter Kimbowa, also known as PK for some of you who know him. He's in the corporate governance and a specialist. He's into leadership as a leadership coach, Rotarian, a futurist, and the founding director of Lead Consortium. He sits across high-level boards of different companies or boards in East Africa and brings a rare blend of business acumen, ethical leadership, and systems thinking to this conversation. Dr. Kimbowa, thank you so much. You're very welcome.
I'm humbled to be here. Thank you, our viewers and listeners. Yeah.
It's good to have you. You could actually just start off by giving in a word or two to someone who is actually listening or watching today.
I've already greeted you and welcomed you to this session, which is a session for reality check. We're talking about transformation. And transformation, by definition, means radical change, shifting the mindset completely and starting to think differently. It's about resetting, it's about rethinking and rebuilding and reigniting a new spirit. So that's the transformation. The church has done very well thus far, but what got us here won't get us there. So this is the time to become a little more open-minded, become a little more curious, and be willing to dare the future. Because one thing for sure, the future is going to be different from the way the present looks like. So we need to change early enough. The church has, like I said, done well in terms of three things. One, transforming lives and livelihoods in many ways. The church has done well in terms of impacting communities. The church has done well in creating opportunities for the youth and for women and giving hope, and hope is the most important thing. But we all know, one writer wrote once and said that faith is your capacity to believe when you have faith, and hope is wishing that certain things will happen. But faith is believing they will happen. But there's always one major ingredient, and that is the courage to make those things happen. So tonight, we are going to be looking at the courage to make these things happen. The church in Uganda has approximately 2,596, I think, parishes, closing into 2,600. We are Catholics, about 40% of the population of Uganda, and growing. But that growth will depend on changes that we have to make going forward.
Very nice introduction. They are very energetic. I see there is a lot of what you're saying, that there is going to be a lot of change in mindset, courage to take these leaps in order for us to make these changes, especially in regards to making the parish council an economic engine.
Yes.
Now, from time immemorial, we have seen how traditionally the parish councils have been seen as a pastoral body. In what ways is it now being seen as potential economic engine, if I may ask?
Yes, I will quote one priest, I think in Mauritius, who said that, a priest said that if the church does not build its own sustainable mechanism, and depend on the faithful, with the time, the church will become a burden to the faithful. Looking at Uganda, I ought to mention that I was a seminarian for 6 years. So I'm very familiar with what goes on in the parish councils. And I think I've had experience in all the 4 archdioceses. I have visited parishes. The church, right now the parish council in other environments, in other archdioceses abroad, the parish council provides what you call strategic oversight. It's not just a small administrative unit. No, the parish council is composed of people with the powerful track records in the corporate world, by people who have done and achieved things elsewhere in their lives. So when they come to the parish council, really, they are like a board, a team of executives who are going to demonstrate some degree of business acumen and foresight, who are going to provide what you call stewardship in resources, who are going to provide compliance, transparency, and ethical standards in the parish council. Parish council is supposed to be an engine for sustainable and independent generation of resources to drive the parish. And I'll give you a quick example. For most of the parishes we have here, we depend on offertory, we depend on tithe, we depend on donations. Mm-hmm. But ever since COVID, donations are drying up. And I think in Uganda, the priorities of people are so many. People don't have much to donate. The world itself, grants and donations are also drying up. So the only answer is looking inside and building what you call systems for domestic mobilization of capital to grow. We are looking at a situation where the parish council has to provide the strategic focus and operation efficiency in enabling the parish to run with or without the support of the faithful, by checking, first of all, mapping out and auditing the assets of the parish, and look at assets which are idle and doing the best they can to sweat those assets. Mm-hmm. Beyond what the Christians or the faithful would contribute. Then the parish council has to be staffed by people with the networks, with the connections, people who can add value to build an independent infrastructure that can support a parish. And here I'm calling upon parishes. It's the job of a parish council to enable a priest to settle in. The priest, most of the priests, when they go to a parish, they go with their own vehicles, their own laptops. No, there ought to be a system that welcomes and settles in a priest and looks after the priest. So the domestic budget of a parish has to be generated by the finance committee of the parish council. So in the parish council, what we have is a setup similar to what we have in the corporate world. Mm-hmm. So that we build revenue streams that are multiple and self-sustaining. So there are a lot of idle assets. Most of the parishes are asset rich but cash poor, majority of them. Mm. In most of the parishes we see, we sometimes don't even know what kind of land we have or what size of land we have. There is no geomapping. We're not sure. In most of the parishes I know, the priests look after themselves. There is no pension for the sisters who may be in the parish. There is no pension for the priests themselves when they grow old. The welfare of the priests, the welfare of the deacons and others, we don't know. So how do we have a parish that cannot sustain the individuals who are doing God's work? There are also seminarians who also have to have a grip on the entrepreneurship and also on the financial literacy at a personal level, but also. So I really don't think that it's the role of the parish priest to take care of capital and the recurrent expenses within the parish. It should be the role of the finance committee of the parish council. It should be the role of the governance committee within the parish council. There's a risk committee on the parish council, audit committee on the parish council to ensure transparency and so on. But the composition of the parish council members should not be tired old people, or no, they need to be different generations for it, but they must bring value.
Yes.
Value that will help to reset, to rethink, to rebuild, and reignite the various systems of governance at that level. And yes, that is what should be happening in terms of what are they experiencing right now. What the experience, donations, whatever, are not enough at all. And the priests are not there to do business, as it were. Priests are there to do some other work, God's work. So it should be the parish council to pay the bills in the parish, to settle all bills, to buy first of all the phone of the priest, to buy the airtime, to provide Wi-Fi, to ensure that the priest who comes in the parish has got a laptop, a modern one. Because today we have got AI. It's the role of the parish council to enable AI integration in the church, in the work of the church, to be able to be connected to all the members of the church, and also to drive collaboration with the other willing partners based on what the parish council provides by way of proposals. Yes.
Doctor, that is very insightful. You have talked about different things. You've talked about looking within in order to mobilize for resources.
Yes.
And it's not the work of the priest really to do business.
Yeah.
Among us, the things that you've highlighted, it kind of points in a way of most of this is mostly determined by leadership and governance, really, when you look at it.
Yeah.
And different parishes at different levels in regards to leadership and governance. Tell us a little bit about the role of governance within the Catholic parish councils. How do you perceive this? How is it important for there to be good governance and leadership in order for some of these things actually to be attained?
The role of governance is key, because like they say, the fish rots from the head. And here we are not talking about priests here. We are talking about the laity.
Yes.
We are talking about the members of the church. First of all, we need a census. We need to know who is in this parish. So we need to know. We need need to know the parishioner, the member of this parish. Then we need to know to whom is that person connected to. Who else is he connected to, or which institution is he connected to? So we are able to do what you call head hunting for members of the parish council who represent the future. So the chair of the parish council must be a very well-grounded professional who is able to not only engage members of the parish council, but also the entire ecosystems within the parish at a more productive level. So the chair of the parish council has to have gravitas, so to say, must be able to ensure that within the parish council there is a variety of skills. There are individuals who are going to contribute to the growth and development of the parish. So, and again, the other thing is maintaining good dynamics within the council, a lot more around information infrastructure. Correct, accurate, and timely information shared. What can this council do well in terms of the local economy of the parish? And whom do we need to make that happen? What are our targets and so? So there are individuals in the parish council. Each one of them has a role to report on. Information flows transparently. So there is planning, there is execution. And there is also risk. What happens when we have an emergency? What happens when we are in an emergency like COVID was? The people are at home. What arrangements do we make? How do we make sure that we are able to reach all our parishioners? That's the area of IT. It's the area of technology. What kind of skill sets do we need to enable the youth in this parish to be employable? What kind of presence do we have on the parish council to ensure that women are skilled? What kind of skill do we have on the board to ensure that there is someone on the council who can connect with MasterCard, who can connect with Rotary, who can build networks locally, but also internationally, if possible. Although the international side is drying up. But who is that one who can break through on the... So you don't sit on a parish council simply because you have been in the parish for a long time. Simply because you are a good guy, you go for confession, you take the Holy Communion, you are generally a peaceful man. No, no. The world we live in now is a world of struggle. The government of Uganda has just launched what they call ATMs. They focus on agriculture, production, processing, and so on. So agro-industry is growing. So we need someone on the parish council who can help us with agriculture. There is also T, which is tourism and tourism development. There is the M, which is mining and mineral development, including oil and gas. Then services, digital transformation of the parish. How do we make sure that our youth are employable? How do we get a skills building? Yesterday, I think, no, yesterday but one, I think the day was the World Youth Skills Day. What is the composition of skills we have in our parish? And how can we monetize these skills to ensure that the parish has got an independent balance sheet and cost structures which can be professional controlled and money grown? How do we build especially partners? How do we ensure that a parish becomes a collection center for foodstuffs? We've got friends who are in Western Uganda. There are crops they grow which are not grown in the north. My colleagues from the east, there are crops they grow which are not in the west. So why don't we have a situation where a parish council becomes a cooperative? So it becomes a collection center for, say, maize. In our area, we grow more maize and more beans. So we can create what we call a blessed store. People bring all this stuff there, and they are paid. There is information available on what kind of seeds you use, and so there is access to credit. Because the Catholic Church is very well structured. You have got cells, and these cells, sub-parishes, they build to a parish. So why can't the parish become a hub for the crops which we have advantage or comparative advantage to grow? And then several parishes come together and we have a major collection point at the diocese. And then we have trade and exchange starting to happen based on frequently required things. And in Uganda, I think the issue would be food, agriculture. Government has launched what they call ATMs to drive what you would call the tenfold growth. The Catholic Church must be seen to participate very seriously in driving this tenfold growth of this country. Because Uganda is not going backwards. No. But a parish council can give new direction and support, yes.
That is actually wonderful when you look at all the richness of what you've said and all the potential that the parish councils actually have to actually drive this economic growth. However, the question is, how can this be done? Sometimes there is a scare of actually doing a lot as you compromise the spiritual mission of the church. And that kind of scares a few people because there has to be a balance there. You strike, you know, without necessarily compromising the mission of the church, but again, being successful as an economic powerhouse, as a parish council.
Yes, I hope I've understood well the question and the concern. But I think somewhere in the Bible, in the teaching, there's something around whoever doesn't work will not eat. So you have to work. And I think there's also a Latin expression, I think it's ora et labora. You will need, you can pray, but you need to work. Mother Teresa tells us that prayer should not get in the way of work, and work should not get in the way of prayer. So all of that is balance. For everything, balance is very key. So there is also something we always pray to God. God, this is my prayer. I want to be able to achieve this, and so. But you see, God cannot bless dreams. God blesses work that is happening. So we need to determine and say, let's redefine the role of the parish council. The parish council is going to be a cooperative hub, and we are going to design documentation, charters that will enable us to set rules that will govern the way we work together and the way we create results. And we are very transparent and we are very detailed, and this is what we are going to do to the satisfaction of everybody. I think I've seen in one area, especially with regard to agriculture in the parish, where I've seen there are villages in the sub-parish, and each village has got leaders themselves. Actually, in the month of the Holy Mary, when we take the rosary around, there are people who are leaders. Now, you tell this leader to be in charge of 15 other Catholics around. They may not even be Catholics, they could even be Christians or Muslims or whatever. He is in charge of them. Then you tell him that you're going to be in charge of distributing seeds, genuine seeds. And we're going to use the telephones of these people. If they don't have smartphones, we are going to give these smartphones on credit. But we're going to be sharing information on how to grow this crop. We are also going to have a credit line that will ensure that these farmers have a bit of money they can borrow. If they have got issues of school fees, if they have got issues of sickness, but this person is already part of this group. It's a registered group of about 15 farmers, and they are growing maize. So we're growing maize, and the leader says, all your maize you are growing, I'm going to buy it. But meantime, I'm going to give you medical insurance. I'm going to make sure that on your phone there is information. And so now, this gentleman, let's call him Joseph. Now, above Joseph, at the sub-parish, there is another Ezekiel, who is in charge of 15 Josephs. Now, Ezekiel now is from the sub-parish level. Now, there are more Ezekiels, and then there is Philip, who is in charge of Ezekiels, and who collects everything they have grown, maize, at the parish level. But there is a very clear advantage on access to credit and assurance of a market. So there is no panicking of selling maize which is not ready or using seeds which are not genuine. So I'm really giving an example of just agriculture, which is basic, and I'm using a crop like maize. And from the parish, where there are more parishes within the diocese, then we have a collection center. But the system of disseminating information, the system of assuring access to fertilizers, access to other inputs, access to the market or credit is very stable. And a centenary bank could probably be very useful here in being able to reach. And now at the basic level, there is a circle, a cooperative. There's a village savings group at that basic level. And there's what you call medical insurance provided. And why? Because people are consistently productive. And all that is organized, the infrastructure, the ecosystem is managed by a group of people who are in the parish council, who understand governance, who know how to report, who know how to write reports, who can be audited, and reports shared properly. So there is building of trust in the system of the parish council, the build system, yes.
A very organized parish council that you have painted. And I believe if some of these things are really put into place, the parish council can actually be a very powerful economic engine. Yes. That's one thing for sure. Let's just dive through a little bit as what, in your perception, what are some of the challenges you think is not allowing us to get to this place that we want to go to? Okay,
the challenge, first of all, is the mindset, as I mentioned, Nora, earlier. the belief, and I saw a bit of this when I was growing up, that in the where I was staying, the priest was the one with the vehicle. So many people would want to be going to either town or hospital, and so they will wait for the father. Is the father going? So you will see the priest's vehicle overloaded, going and coming back. The priests would look after themselves. They will set up a banana plantation near the priest's house. They will be the ones buying things and so on. No, that's not the role of a priest. The role of a priest is known. That's what the priest should do, and do it well, and be able to reach people. Today we have got technology. So if we are in the parish, the priest should be able to reach to all convents, to all schools, to all people who are sick, and look after them. They are members of a parish who are in diaspora. The priest should be able to seek them out and give them the word of God. Why? Because the world is suffering. People wake up in the morning when they are anxious, they are tense. They need some words of reassurance. You would want to listen to mass from your own home parish when you are in the United States, when you are in China, when you are doing, you want to hear your parish priest say something. That's the work of priest. Now, the parish council must make sure that every aspect of expenditure within the parish must be taken up by the treasurer or by the finance team of the parish council. They must generate that revenue. And that brings us to the point of knowing what assets do we have. Two, what are the possible revenue streams, multiple revenue streams that we can generate. How many youth do we have? In most of these parishes, do we have shelter for skills development? Can people, who takes the tenders for supplying carpentry or wood to schools? Who are the people cleaning the hospitals around? And so, who are the young people who are actually helping people to maintain their compounds and so on? So, there are multiple, and I'm willing to share, I'm supposed to be sharing this with Centenary Bank, the kind of new jobs that have been created after COVID. The office where I work, they generated 500 new services that came through COVID, which were not there before, but which can be done. So there is a toolkit at the parish council to ensure that anyone who is age 15 or 16 has something to do. Even if he's in school, there is something else he can do beyond school. We know all the guys who have qualified for university. We know all those who are doing. So there is absolute control over information at the parish level. Then there is something more. The partners that we can get. How many parishes have a good idea of the parishioners who are in diaspora? Because there are many. And how many are connected to them? There is no one in diaspora, and I've been almost to all places where Ugandan diaspora are. Everyone feels a sense of responsibility. If you mention the home parish. But our parish council must be able to connect, to provide connection with the people who are willing to support their home parishes. And again, we need also to emphasize the fact that the way of giving is made more flexible. And I've seen in some parishes, it's very possible for people to donate whatever they can donate. There are no restrictions of whatever kind. And that's been a very good gesture. In fact, like the parish of Gaba, I'm sure there are many others. But Gaba Parish is one fine example of a parish council which has become an economic engine. In other parts of the world, Mauritius, South Africa, the United States, I think even the Diocese of New York and so on, these are independent, with or without faithful support. They will be able to sustain themselves, pay the electricity bill, pay the water bills, pay all the clothes, the vehicles, everything that the priest uses. The priest doesn't have to get into commerce or entrepreneurship. No, he doesn't have to.
Interesting. Well, Gaba Parish must be a benchmark to some parishes, really.
It's a good benchmark.
There is actually also a difference, Doctor, when you look at it. The way parishes in urban areas the parish councils, the way they operate, there is a slight difference also with the parish councils in rural areas.
Rural-based.
How they operate. How can we put this together and just align?
I think the best way, I come from a rural parish myself, but I'm connected to my rural parish, and I think technology here can support. That's why I'm really saying that the members of the parish council have to be carefully selected. So most of the members of the parish council don't have to be residing exactly in the parish. No. There's some work I do in my home parish, but I stay in Kampala. So the issue is to, like with the modern technology, meetings of the parish council can be on Zoom. Everything can be made flexible. So I will be in Kampala, and I come from a parish like Kiziba or Mitara Maria or whatever. I can still participate in the work of the parish council in Muduma or in Mitara Maria or wherever. I participate. I participate because we have regular meetings of the parish council every Tuesday. Okay, every Tuesday at 6, wherever I am, I will make my contribution. I will make sure that there are actionable commitments that we can execute and be accountable for them. We have to raise money, and we have targets, and we have streams of partnerships that we will need to exploit. We know our numbers. We know the youth who are based in the rural area, but we also know our youth who are from that area, but they have scattered all over Uganda or East Africa. We have good tracking mechanism to ensure who is where and what can he provide, what can he do. In our kind of work, when we talk about partnerships, we mean 1 + 3. You join the parish council on condition that you are bringing us 3 more partners who can support our mission in this parish council. And we are going to serve in the parish council for 5 years. And we are going to make sure that every quarter we make reports. We are accountable. We are going to share reports every quarter. We are going to give a revenue status of this parish. We are going to, so that people build confidence and trust that we can husband the resources effectively or efficiently. So that one needs to start. And we don't have to start perfectly. No, we need to make progress. We need to start slowly, get the priests out of the money area, and ensure that we build an independent system that looks after our priests. If I were a bishop, I will tell the parishioners that I really need to see your books, parish council, whether you can support the priest, you can support the convents, what kind of support you can give schools. Where are you lacking? Right now we lack a lot in what you call vocational training, skills. We lack them. But people, wherever the parish is, whether rural and so on, this is something that can be developed. When we finish Mass, people finish Mass at, let's say, 10 or 11, where are they going? They have to stay near the parish to learn how to do tailoring, how to mend things and so. So there ought to be some workshop accordingly. People who get married, so if you are rural-based, and then the wedding is going to take place in Kampala, why? We can make arrangements in the rural area to make sure that anyone who is a parishioner, your events and functions take place around the parish. And then we generate independent income streams. Right. That's what I think, yeah.
Doctor, what I hear so much in our discussion, you talk about structure. That is very, very important. In this discussion, I'm hearing a lot of systematic structure, which is very important, you know. There is also what you mentioned, leveraging technology.
Yes.
It is very important. I want to go back. How best can the church open up in leveraging technology to actually lead into sustainability, but also to make the parish councils an economic powerhouse? Technology is where the future is really, and I think you could really expound on that. But still, let me intertwine that with something else that you talked about. In your discussion, I hear a lot of networking, which is very, very important.
Yes.
And I see there are so many possibilities and capabilities of the parish councils actually networking with not just individuals, but also with corporate bodies, let's say banks and organizations. What is failing some of these parish councils into these stronger networks that can actually help these councils into a bigger economic engines?
Yes, thank you very much for the observation on technology. And I will tell you something. The number of city dwellers here who are doing well, and they come from rural areas. And in those rural areas, there are parishes. But the issue is we don't have data. We don't know who they are and how many they are. We don't even know what they do. So technology could help us to map this, to get to know. We have not leveraged technology in terms of analytics. So we have data, big data, analytics, analyze exactly if we are able to reach this kind of person, what can we do with this person to ensure that our targets in the parish are achieved. So technology enables connection, but also it enables us to customize the messages we are sending out to farmers, to people who are doing different activities. We are able to make a connection between the markets and the sources of credit. We are able to disseminate information people need to live, survive, and thrive. So technology will do the connection, the customization or personalization. Technology will help us to consolidate everything, including messages. Technology will enable us to converge different kind of things. Like when a parishioner, I don't know whether even in the rural area, there is a parishioner who doesn't have a mobile phone. We all have mobile phones. They all have mobile phones. And they are able to do so many things with mobile phones. But can we demystify the use of technology and use technology as especially phones and so on, as a tool for empowerment? A tool for sharing. People need to know where is the market for this I'm doing. There are crops people have in the villages. I've been told Kenyans come and buy their maize and so on and whatever. But why? We use technology to mobilize those farmers in the rural areas, and they are able to get the best out of their crop. They don't have to panic. I will give you an example. When I was growing up, Christmas Day and Easter, everyone in the village even would be wearing new clothes. So growing up, I kept asking myself, how come these days it's not possible? But I do recall that my mom had a very big coffee plantation. And I used to see a guy come and ask my mom, can I go and check your crop? So my mom would take the guy behind the house because there was a very large coffee plantation. So the man would go sampling about 3-4 coffee trees. So we check on one coffee tree and count the tufts on the branch of the coffee. He counts the tufts of coffee. If there are 12, he will say, this is a good crop. Checks on another tree. So he will tell my mom, should you have any requirement for funds or money, whatever, anything you need, you let me know. Why? Because I'm going to take your entire crop when it's harvested. So there was a degree of financial security. There was also a degree of financial literacy. Now, all of this is not available, but technology can help us to learn about possibilities and options that are available to the most vulnerable at the lowest level. So if the parish council can work on knowing how many villages do we have in this parish council, what are the activities which we can harness, which can develop with the highest return on investment. Now, who are the farmers we can support so that our parish is known for something? So can we give a report on how many youths we have made employable? How many women are doing what? All that's in the area of technology. Technology helps us on that. And I've seen here, there are some rural places where there are workers. They work in a factory and so on. When do they get the word of God? When do they go for confession? So it's the priest's job to reach out to these souls. but not the priest to be running around to check on this or that so that he can pay the bills and Wi-Fi in the parish. No, no, no. Parish council should ensure priests have the right garments, priests have everything, candles and so on. There's what they call masket. All those modern masket. The priest should have all that so that they can check out the souls on the other side. Yeah.
And then in addition to that, we had earlier on talked about how these collaborations and networking is very, very important, you know, and we're wondering what are some of the things that parish councils can do to attract bigger collaborations and networks and work together with, for example, huge institutions or, for example, banking, finance institutions, non-governmental organizations that can actually collaborate with them, or government projects. How best can they set themselves up for this?
The way they would set themselves up, very quickly, I could tell you, first of all, one thing is members of parish councils, especially rural parish councils, should visit parishes which are doing well, like the one in Gaba. So Gaba should be hosting every week, you know, members of a parish council from one of the parishes around to see what is it they are doing right. So there will be what you call benchmarking trips to learn. That's point one. Point two is really, like I said earlier on, is to find out who are our parishioners, wherever they are in the world, what can they do for us. That is very important to know what is the contribution they can make. We need also to know who are the people right now who could be employable. We need to have a good register of those people and see what they can do. Then the other thing is there are institutions around us where 3-4 parish councils can come together and say put in a proposal on climate financing. There are a number of parishes which have got trees. Right now we talk about carbon credits, we talk about climate funding. Those are non-traditional sources of funding that we can exploit. So can we get together with 3-4 other parishes and work around this? Let me summarize this, Nora. The World Bank uses the word thick or thicker as an acronym to say that a parish council can be transformed into an economic engine. Let's start with the T, technology, through adoption of technology. Then H is human capital. We need people who are skilled on the parish councils. And each skill must yield, must bring value. So that is H. In the word, thicker. I is innovation and ideas. So every time, and I think when we are starting this to make a parish council an economic engine, we need meetings every week. Short meetings, 1 hour, but business-like. So innovation, ideas, especially. Then we go to C in the word thicker. That is collaboration, continuous conversations about growth. Then K is parish councils need knowledge. Knowledge which is backed by data and analytics. Then E, ethical standards of governance. But we need to talk the truth. We need to be open. We need to be audited. That's when the corporate world will be sponsoring projects within the parish when they know that you are not corrupt, that you don't steal, that you report properly. And the R is resilience, staying power. Let's experiment. We may fail in some, but we may succeed in others. But what we have to do is to be focused that the future of the Catholic Church is in the parishes. And the parishes must be self-sufficient.
The parishes really must be self-sufficient.
Yeah.
The future is in the parishes.
Absolutely.
Very, very interesting there. We've talked about so much. Let's delve a little bit, because we've talked about the challenges, and in there you talked about also some of the solutions when you look at it. Give us a little bit of hints and strategies. There were strategies that you put out, but let's just go back and just be clear on some of the strategies that the parish councils can put in place. You have mentioned some,
Yeah.
But let's just go back and just be clear on that.
The strategies, I think the Parish Council, first of all, have to adopt really, number one is to want to be aware that this parish council, or rather this parish, can be independent. And I will tell you, the mind, first of all, has to change. I think it's an African saying that if you are a cat and you desire to become a lion, you are a cat that wants to become a lion, you should stop eating rats. So if your target, your ambition is to transform, then we stop relying on offertory, we stop relying on donations, we stop relying on tithe. Let us work as if that is not there. Even I think even the deacons and so on, when they go for their pastoral missions and so, let them learn that one of the very important strategies at the parish council level is mindset change. But like I've mentioned, after the mindset change, we need an action plan. The diocese can develop clear work plans that are customized for individual parishes. Because individual parishes have got individual, rather separate or distinct advantages. Some parishes are very good in poultry, others they've got a very big engine in agro-processing, others have got a very, very strong, whatever, in commercial agriculture, others smallholder farms. So let's be able to map out what are the potential revenue generating assets. Then the other strategy that we need to focus on is the capacity to disseminate information among all parishioners, those who are here in Uganda and those who are abroad. Then the other strategy is reporting. What is actually happening? What is the progress we are making? What are the risks we are confronting? Then the other one is, I think it should be quite key, that we check on other institutions. Technical and institutional collaboration is very key. I know I am a Rotarian, but I do know that there is no parish where we are not as Rotarians. But in Rotary, we get support from international also. We still get. Rotarians are driven by service above self. So in the area of water, immunization, and all those things, the parish council can team up with Rotary. There are institutions now like MasterCard. Now, can we write as many proposals as possible? Each parish council should generate 100 proposals of support every year. Out of the 100 proposals, they could have 5 going through. That is called the law of wasted effort. The law of wasted effort is that you may need to invest a lot in order to earn something small. So we will need a parish council to have capacity to generate bankable projects and proposals with the parish. And I think if I were a bishop, I would say I want to see how many proposals a parish council has made this year. I would want to see what is the impact. So there's accountability. That's one of the methods. Accountability and then recognition and award. The parishes that have done very well. Yes, we have what we call the Parish Transformation Economic Forum in our diocese. And there we see a parish which has performed so well in terms of women empowerment, in terms of youth skilling, in terms of providing welfare for the priests, for the sisters, and so on. So there is a whole range of KPIs that will be administered at diocese level. And we make sure dioceses compete among themselves in generating value and becoming a sustainable economic engine. Yes.
Very nice. Dr. Peter, when all this is done in the right way and all these KPIs are met and we see the strategies followed, we see systems in place, we see leveraging of technology, we see collaboration and networking, there is likely to be positive impact, really.
Yes.
Yes? Mm-hmm. Give us an overview of how do you see a sustainable, self-reliant, economically vibrant parish council, let's say 50 years from now, what would that look like?
What it would look like, I'll tell you something. Today, the church is at war. Today, the church is at war with the people who do not believe that God exists. There are many. And the technology has blinded people without realizing that God, in the first place, created the minds that are discovering the technological breakthroughs. So the church is at war. There is a very serious war going on for souls. Now, one would want to look at some of the key performance indicators of the future, what you have called clearly the future parish, the most desirable parish council. A desirable parish council should be constituted of professionals. Should be constituted of professionals who are well-resourced and endowed socially, intellectually, spiritually, and so on. One would want to see a parish council that is able to sponsor increasing numbers of young girls going to convent. One would want to see increasing numbers from a parish taking more people to seminaries. One would want to see the number of podcasts that are coming from a parish council, paid, monetized. One would want to see, for instance, the conversion in terms of land use in the parish. How efficiently is it? So the church will need the auditors to see exactly the depth of production and productivity in the parish, given parish. And the parish council has got orderly governance systems in terms of succession and so on. So we have a parish that is taking good care of the welfare of priests, retirement packages for priests, retirement packages for nuns or sisters, retirement packages for the laity, the catechists and so on and so forth. Yes, how they manage accidents and emergencies. So they don't run all over the place to talk to the faithful. We have got a priest here, we sick. No, the priests have their medical insurance. The sisters have medical insurance. They have got an independent pension and so on. So that's a future that maybe I could think about. Efficient utilization of the assets that are in the parish.
Well, that is a lovely, very lovely picture that you've painted, really. Yes. And it's a lovely picture that we'll all really want to see if we take these bold steps and transform our minds and transform our approaches to our leadership and governance. Yes. And something that you really highlighted on there that is very, very significant, the structuring of the parish council. You said, well, we do not want parish councils that are just members that, because they've been in the parish for the longest time, but you need diverse and unique, able, intellectuals, talented brains coming together with different abilities to actually make this work, which is very, very important. I would just like you to give us a brief, what is your call to action? What is your call to action and the takeaway? What can someone actually take home from this? And your call to action really to the laity, to the councils, to the leadership in terms of the priests, the bishops. What would you actually want them to act on?
The call to action, number one, and thanks for the question, is to have every diocese convene a transformation economic forum in which the diocese will bring in all kinds of people who can add value to a parish. So they come, but they are invited by the bishop. And that's one. Our takeaway is convening this. The main outcome of this would be to map the resources the parish has, because we need to start somewhere. We need to start somewhere. So, and then you have planners, you have guys who are well connected in the finance world, investment world, you have guys who are environmentalists, you have all kinds of guys. Because each diocese in this country, I will tell you very honestly, has got all these skill sets. So the diocesan transformation forum will ensure that that happens. And out of this forum, there will be what you call a roadmap. But first of all, we need to recognize, and I don't want to miss this, each parish, each diocese has achieved something. But there are also areas where they have come short. They have not achieved. We need to look at the lessons learned in not achieving, even lessons learned in achieving. Then we need to figure out the roadmap and the responsibilities in this roadmap. And then we figure out also, number 5, the support we will need from various corners. We define that well. So there are 5 things that have to happen in this diocesan transformation economic forum. And that one now will define, for us in this diocese, this is the area we are going to focus on. We are going to generate proposals. We are going to do this and that. So there is a roadmap, a one-pager roadmap with the responsibilities.
Thank you so much, Doctor. It has been really nice having this discussion and this conversation. One thing for sure is that your words of wisdom have not only been limited to the parish council transformation into a power engine, but as I was listening, the principles that you're talking about actually can be translated into each and every sphere of life, be it personal business, be it your personal life, be it where you were at home. I feel like it is very practical in every sphere of life. And thank you so much.
Welcome.
Well, it has been really nice having you, and our time is really fast spent in a very productive sense. Dr. Peter Kimbowa, it is nice. Thank you. We are very grateful once again. And we are very grateful that you have stuck with us on UNCCLA Listens and Speaks. Really, it has taken people a lifetime to actually acquire this wisdom. But if you really put into practice what Dr. Kimbowa has said, not just at the parish councils, but also in life, in different spheres of life, I believe this is going to take us a very, very long way, not just as a church, as individuals, as entrepreneurs, in whatever area of your life. I'm so glad you've stayed with us, wherever you're watching us from. Thank you so much. My name is Nora Sende. Until then, do take care.